I walk the streets with my swagger on, supernatural, facing a million opponents, and my role is to act alone. Lights, camera when the action's on. Where I roam is a battle zone, a vigilante in the catacombs. But I rock with a hot shot like a clock when it's cocked and popped and the lead is gone. People say that my head is gone, but it's them same people with need of my help when I'm heading home in life. They say that everybody got a purpose, so I roam the city streets like faulty cellular service. The hot shot, sharpshooter, superhero, destined to shine like light through the dark and evil. I fight for what's right in the hearts of people and try to open y'all eyes, cause it's hard to see truth. You ever feel like everybody's the same but you different? That's when you know you're here to make a difference. Hot shot, you got a choice to make, stand up or stand down.
Here comes a new challenger!
What's up, everybody? How you doing? I am Mike Watson, aka Most Epic, and that is Most Enthusiastic Person in Comics. In case you have not caught on, this is the 223rd episode of a show I like to call Chat and Draw. It is where we literally draw and we chat, which is what we're all about. Today, we're getting back to the basics of what the show, what we normally do on here. We're promoting another Kickstarter. It is Kickstarter season, and it's going down, and we got a big one coming around. But speaking of Kickstarters, let me update you right now. First off, I'm going to say thank you so much. Thank you so much to our audience, to our fans of the Freestyle Comics franchise. For those of you that have backed our last few campaigns, you guys are patient as hell, and I want to thank you very much for that patience and allowing us to get this stuff done, get it taken care of, and finally start getting it away. So if you have backed Emerald Quest, Vigilance, and or Green Zone, your package is still here with me because we're still putting those together. But if you have backed Green Zone, package is gone. If you have backed Vigilance, package is gone. Clothes, gone. Merch, gone. All that stuff shipped out. The last campaign that we have to go through, and Editor-in-Chief Danny Cooper, who just showed up at my house, will be packing and getting everything taken care of for Emerald Quest tonight. And then those of you that have backed 2 or more campaigns will be getting all yours in a nice big package. So we only have to send stuff to you one time. So that's the big update as far as our shipping. I'd like to shout out Danny again for coming up with an amazing system down in our fulfillment center. We have another Kickstarter that we're going to be launching here in about a week or so. That will be 5-star number 2. And then we'll be doing the Kickstarter for Green Zone issues 2 and 3. We are going to be doing a special FSKnow.com day that'll be happening here before the end of the year. Trust and believe. We said Zero event number one was dropping. We were going to drop that at FSCon. We couldn't make that happen. We apologize for that, but we will be dropping Zero event number one. No Kickstarter, straight to the website. Physical copies can be purchased that day to the website before the end of this year. That will be happening. We got new merch that is coming. Some new items we're throwing up on the website too. Some things we think you're going to enjoy. We'll also be making announcements about our new FSK Elite members. It is growing. We have 5 solid in there. We are going to be adding 3 or 4 more people to the FSK Elite roster. Special announcement with that will also be happening before the end of this year. And we are going to be at a TED Talk next week. This week, I am talking at my alma mater, the Columbus College of Art and Design. I'll be speaking to the comic book class there this week. To say that I'm excited would be an understatement because I am super excited. I went to CCAD because there was a comic book class being taught at that school. And then I took that class every single semester. That is 6 times that I could take that class. And I did. And I loved it. I enjoyed it. I love comic books. But now to be making comic books, publishing comic books on the level that we are doing right now at FSK, and then be able to go back to my college and talk. Very, very, very excited. A little bit nervous as well, but mostly excited about that. We will also be, it's been announced, we are going to be at the GalaxyCon Columbus. We are special guests there. So Freestyle Comics in the building. So if you're in Columbus, Ohio, around, come check us out. We will be stocked up with books for that event and TED Talk. Yeah, I think that's all. I think that's all for the updates. Now we're gonna bring out my awesome co-host, Amayu. Here she is. What's up, Amayu?
Hello, happy hump day.
How are you doing?
I am pretty good, pretty good. I had a tough couple of weeks, but I am pushing through. Even though I don't have, well, I do kind of have on mostly black, since we will be mourning someone's loss, but I guess we'll talk about that later. In the Game of Thrones universe there. So we can talk about that later.
Well, now that we have beat around the bush, well, let's go out here and bring out our awesome guest. Get started talking about this Kickstarter. Actually, I'm gonna get y'all started. Let me get y'all this link. Let me get y'all this link right now. Boom, boom, boom. We're gonna put it in the chat.
Rob Crump said, "Nice armory," and a couple other comments. Someone said that they need that Emerald Quest. Hey, Brad, he said good evening to us. Someone that just says Facebook user says Zero event and they want to know how to get on FSK Elite. So we need to make sure we give them the instructions. Is that the link there that you just put in there?
That's the link for the Kickstarter.
Perfect.
And I can't wait for you to get Emerald Quest. It is coming. How to get on FSK Elite? Go above. Basically, all I can say is go above and beyond in your support of Freestyle Comics. The people that have made it to FSK Elite, they have pretty much bought every single thing that we come out with. As far as books wise, they have supported and backed all of our Kickstarters in large denominators. And they are always on our live streams. They're always in our chats. They are always recommending us. They're always sharing our stuff on social media. They're always involved. They want to know what the next event is. They're showing up. So that's how you can be on the FSK Elite. The FSK Elite get a black card with their own code scribed in there and their name, and that code gets them 15% off of our website and 50% off of purchases made with us at any comic book convention that they see us at. But I digress. Let's get the man out here so we talk about this awesome book.
Here comes a new challenger.
Chill. I think it's time for me to save the day.
What up, Malachi?
Hello, I was waiting for that ding dong. So thank you.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, guys. How about yourself?
Doing real good. Doing real good. We are here. The chat is bubbling, and as we reflected back there, I have been waiting for this book.
You really have, though. No exaggeration. So for those who don't know, because there's like almost everybody except for me and Mike, of course. So last year, was it last year? I'm gonna say late last year.
Yeah, last year you were on the show. Yeah.
So he hit me up, hey Malachi, so I'm getting ready to do a Kickstarter. He's like, so I'd like to include her. And I'm like, of course you can include her. You want my child, my baby? Yes. So I said, I have number 0, my little my 8-page bonus issue. And he's like, I meant like the real issue, like number 1. I'm like, oh, I'm still working on it. I'll get back to you on it. So here we are. We're finally there. Many people who are watching the show, many of my colleagues and friends, they know this is long in coming.
Mm-hmm.
Mine said the other day, a lot of tears and years to this, for this moment. So it's great to be here, literally, and all that good stuff.
Awesome, awesome. Love to have it. Now, I would also like to say, because that sounds really rude, disclaimer. I wanted his number 1 issue because we had other number 1
I know.
issues, and they were 22 pages plus. So that was a requirement. I didn't just shaft him because he only.
I'm a Leo, so I'm going to be a bit dramatic anyway. So he wasn't rude. I was like, okay, I'll get back to
Awesome.
it.
Now, but it is here. And
Yes.
sir, congratulations, you're already funded.
I am, yes. We launched it at 9:00 yesterday, and it was fully funded within 6 hours.
Mm.
Yeah, so
Okay.
thank you all.
Won't he do it?
He surely will.
Let's see if the video will work here. There we go.
Out.
Okay, so basically, I need to get me a 6-pack so that I can be cosplaying as her next year.
Yes,
she's
thank you,
amazing
thank you.
cosplayer.
Whew, Lord Jesus, I'm gonna need to get on keto again.
Okay, so tell us about her. Like I'm looking right now because I'm about to back it. Y'all know if I haven't already backed the campaign, I try to save it for when we actually get on the show so I can do it live to motivate the rest of y'all to back the campaign. Because if your boy can do it, you can do it too.
Mm-hmm.
You are so right. So it's a long story, but it's been fruitful. It's been rewarding in so many ways. So her actually started basically 6 years ago.
Mm.
Actually 7 years ago. I wrote 2 novels that actually went into how she came to be, her mission statement, all that good stuff. But she became a part of Wingless Comics. Shout out to my team. I want to say late 2019, early 2020. So, in a nutshell, her is an immortal African woman. She is from the first tribe, and they're also known as the Wandering Children. So, when she came of age, there was a great plague that destroyed, her people, and she was chosen to be the survivor and just continue their lessons, throughout time. So there was a major, we'll say interruption, a major interruption, and even though her body was destroyed during this conflict, her soul proved to be enduring. It keeps being reincarnated in different lives, different bodies, different faces, and sometimes different powers. So currently, in her new life, she is a hydrokinetic elemental. She's been blessed by the Orishas, and she's still trying to acclimate to life as it is now, like a cell phone or something like that. Is something that she still has trouble trying to use. She's addicted to a reality TV. unlike me, I think it's trashy, but I mean, sometimes we like a little trash. I'm not
A
going to
little
judge
bit.
others, you know. But so she's basically just trying to find herself, and in the process, you can't be that long lived without having any type of enemies. So those enemies have also some of them are timeless as well, and some of them are just new threats
Mhm.
who are jealous and they want to see her dead permanently. So that's what we
Mm,
start with issue number one.
okay. So, how long have you worked on this title? Like overall, like since from concept to where we're at right
Oh,
now. Like, I know some people get ideas and like, oh yeah, that's cool, but then they set it down, they come back to it, they leave it alone for a bit. So like, what's the full timeline for you?
so it's actually almost 10 years.
Mm,
Um, I used to work for a small boutique some years ago, and I was an intern. And my previous mentor, she told us that, hey, you're going to be, editing manuscripts, and you're also going to be publishing your own book. And I'm like, say what? Because I've been planning on that. So
Right.
we, she said, "But the next time I see you guys, I want to hear your pitch. I want to see, what story you're going to do." So for me, I was always different because the type of story that I wanted to do was very much rooted in sci-fi and fantasy, whereas my peers at the establishment were more about the urban romances and stuff like that. So I always stood out. So when she saw me again, she was like, "Okay, so Malachi, what's the pitch?" And I'm like, an immortal black woman with powers, but she's amnesiac when she is returned to life, and people are trying to kill her." I said, "That's going to be the first book." She's like, "Okay, so let's work on it." So I
Wow.
I, I published that book in 2016, and I had it up there for about maybe 6 months. There were some things that I wasn't very happy with, in terms of how it looked. The cover, um, it made my ass itch. Excuse my French.
that's a
Um,
new one.
it was okay. So you guys are familiar with stock images, and I try to avoid them because there's a very good chance that someone has it as well.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I'm okay with if we decide to go the route of Fiverr. Yes, let's commission somebody to do like a different illustration, and you can start as low as $5. So yes, I was poor. I can do that. Let's proceed. But they were like, no, Malachi, let's do a stock image because that's it's free, and of course no one's gonna have it. And I want to say 6 months after we published, someone had that same exact image on their book cover. So
Mm,
I was pissed. And I think what really irritated me about it was one of my dear friends, Amy Hearn. She is one of my writing buddies that I've known, oh God, like 20 years now. And she actually got me to start word painting when I write, when I was probably 18 years old. And she's a phenomenal writer, phenomenal artist. And she was like, "Okay, well, Malachi, I'm working on this illustration for you, and it's a picture of her, her, um, in the ocean, and she looks like she's sleeping, and she's kind of just floating there. The waves are kind of keeping her afloat, and around her there's like a nimbus of blue light, and then the rest is pure darkness, and then it says her, on top. That was supposed to be my book cover, but Amy had gotten sick or whatever, and I couldn't use it because I didn't get everything written down. So I had to go with that shitty book cover from before. And long story short, when I decided to take down the book because the editing wasn't great either. When I took it down and re-released it, I was finally able to use the cover that I wanted to all along. So when I re-released the book in 2019, one of my friends and fellow conspirators, Brian J. Lambert, he read the first few pages of the novel and he's like, "Hey, so I'm actually building a comic book company called Wingless Comics. Would you like to be a part of that?" And I'm like, "Oh yes!" But I didn't show him that part. I was like, "Sure, let me let me get back. You know, trying to play it cool, but inside I was like, I was squealing and doing, backflips and everything. Is that him in the comments? How hard is it always losing arguments to Brian?
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah, Brian.
yeah, he's trifling. But anyway,
I'm
so
just doing mine.
he extended the invitation, and I have not regretted it. We spent the last 2 years, building our brand. We have.
Which I would like to say, y'all been
Mhm.
killing it. Like, definitely paid attention, saw y'all online. Definitely a presence that people have been seeing and feeling through all my timelines that I'm watching you guys on.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Brian is one of the hardest working people I've ever met in my entire life, and to do this in such a short amount of time, it's mind blowing. And so I'm honored to have my character, be on. It's true. Consistency is key. Uh,
Mhm.
but to have her, stand side by side, with his characters, Justice and Caliburn, and it started with just those three 2 years ago, and now we have the little, families growing. Um, we I can't go into detail because there's some things we're still working out for the future,
Okay. No
but
spoilers.
no spoilers in that regard. But I'm excited. I actually got a chance to meet up with Brian face to face this February. I flew out to Black Comics Day, in San Diego, and you know how sometimes when you meet, people on, online face to face, it's kind of that awkwardness. It's kind of like, okay,
Yeah.
it wasn't like that. One of my, hidden joys in life is to irritate him. Like I find such profound joy in it. So to be able to do that face to face, it was just amazing. So we had a good time. Um, it was nice to brainstorm. I mean, that's got to be Lori. Um, Lori, we'll get to it. It's not hidden. Yes, it's it's very much out in the open. But yeah, so we've been,
Here's a spoiler. If I counted this right, me, Danny J. Quick, and one more person have backed your campaign tonight on Chat and
I
Draw.
want to thank you guys for that money. I love money. I love it. Thank you.
Money.
Thank you. Give me some money.
You're at
Um,
$3,576 with 98 backers.
that is beautiful. So let me tell you guys, um, I was hella nervous about doing this Kickstarter. Like, yeah. I've been working on this shit for the last year, some change. Um, yes, I had the books out from the previous years, but doing a Kickstarter and writing a book are totally different beasts entirely.
Yes,
Like,
they are.
and when I tell you this Kickstarter, like when it came to building it, doing the tiers and doing this and that, it was stressful. And I was like, listen, y'all, if I seem a bit cattier than usual, if I don't have that customer service filter that I developed in previous jobs, I apologize in advance because this is not who I am.
Woo.
This is not who we are. You know how they like to say that when they're being called out. This is not who we are. No, it's yeah.
Caught me on the right day.
You caught me on the right day, y'all. That's right. So yes, the Kickstarter, I'm humbled, by the response. I am delighted in seeing that people are really interested in my story. And I gotta say, Mike, that her illustration that you're working on, it is quite delicious and succulent. I just wanted to put it out there. She has the most wonderful legs. I mean, look at those knees. I mean, I love it.
No problem. That's what I'm here to try to do.
I'm looking at my knees trying to see if they compare.
I'm sure they're fine. Those are some fine knees.
Try to bring y'all on here and make your artists jealous. Try to keep them on their toes.
Uh, I'm not gonna touch that one, but yeah. But yeah, so it's been really exciting. I was harassing Brian and Brett, and I want to say maybe it was yesterday. So
Mm.
write the copy, what you want to put out there. And I'm like, guys, look it over for me. And Brian was like, Malachi, it's fine. Just trust in yourself. I'm like, just read it over. I just need you to look it over. So it's cool to see it is actually out there. I hope the people enjoy the tiers that we've provided for, for your pleasure, for your viewing pleasure.
Let's talk about some of the tiers. What kind of now? So I went ahead and got I started off with the $20 package. Comes with the book, comes with digital copy, comes with physical copy. But then I saw you got them shirts. I like rocking my graphic tees, so I threw that as an add-on myself.
Beautiful.
But what else are you offering on this Kickstarter? What would you recommend?
So obviously, I'm going to recommend everything. I want you guys to get, every type of thing you can get. You're very welcome. So to keep it all full circle, I did include the novels, and just because I love everybody, I'm going to autograph them. So whoever pledges to the Writer's Block tier, and Writer's Block is actually, a play on words in the novel. Once you read it, that'll be available for those who want to get the complete story. But I should state that you don't need to read the books to enjoy her number one. We start off in San Francisco, the chosen place where she decides to start her new current life. But if you wanted to know, how she came to be, half dead floating in the water off the coast of Australia, then yeah, you may want to check out those delicious books.
Okay.
So you guys could check that out. One of the things that I really loved was doing the pop, the Funko Pop of her.
Mm-hmm.
And that's available. He's just so talented. Like, he could just build this from scratch. And, when I saw, her truly taking shape, I was like mind blown, because it was so cool to see something that was in your head is now in someone's hands, literally, as he's molding it. So of course, I'm gonna tell you guys to check that out. Lawrence, please let's not those comments. He's been calling Malik now for the last, I don't know, like year and a half.
I was about to say, who is Malik?
Yeah, he does not exist. Malik Bailey is not real. Maybe it's a variant, in the multiverse, but he does not exist in this reality. So anyway,
Malachi, someone's asking if you can add the novels as an add-on. They want to get the second one not autographed.
I can probably work something out. Just hit me up. But as of right now, I wasn't working on that, but this is a work in progress. So I'm sure we could work something out. Just hit me up.
Just a quick question for someone who is just new to you and your work. Are the novels, are they for adults only? Is the comic for adults only? Is it like tween age, or what's the age range for that?
So it's accessible to everybody. The first book is actually, I want to say 168 pages.
Okay.
So it's a quick read. I wrote the chapters in a way that you can just breeze through it. I've had people reach out to me saying that they finished the book in a day because they couldn't put it down. And of course, as a writer, you want to hear that.
Yeah.
So the second book is thicker. I want to say it's 240 pages, maybe. I want to say that one is more so PG-13. I want to say there is a scene where it gets kind of spicy.
Okay.
It's a little spicy, but overall, I like to say it's accessible for anybody. I don't really anticipate any, children in it. Like,
okay. Yeah.
If you want a children's book, we can work that out.
All right. Thank you.
No problem.
Oh, somebody wants to know, is there an audio book or one in the works?
So that has been a request for the longest time. And I want to say eventually, I was telling my brother earlier today, there's so much shit that I want to do. There's so much that I want to do, with the character and Wingverse. There's so much I want to do with the novels because I'm going to write a third novel. I do want to get hardcover. I want to do the audio. I'm insatiable, so I want to make sure those needs are met at some point. So yeah, we'll get to the audio book.
Okay. Epic. J Man is here. He says the sketch is epic as always, Mike.
It is.
Thank you, J-Man. And J-Man's streak continues. J-Man has been here for every single episode of Chat and Draw, all 223 episodes.
So I'm gonna add a tier for the novel. So guys, just get into it later on tonight. Yeah, I'm here to please.
Ask and you shall receive.
I'm gonna do it for y'all. I'm gonna do it.
Well, Malachi, so this is going to be, I know you've been on the show before, and you know how we normally do this is I give this piece to you. This is yours to do what you want with it. What do you think you're going to do with this piece?
So let me tell you, Mike. I don't know what happened in the last, like, I want to say 8 hours or so, maybe we'll say 10, right? I've had two of my artists from Wingless, they hit me up with these beautiful her sketches. And I kind of sort of want to most definitely kind of leaning towards most definitely want to do like stretch goals because I want to share this glorious artwork with, with the masses. So, I mean, look at that booty meat. I mean, she's
been doing her squats, honey.
She's doing her squats, God doesn't make mistakes, right?
Nope.
He just does it. So yeah, I definitely, I'm definitely leaning towards, doing like a stretch goal because I got to tell you, like, I anticipated the Kickstarter being funded. Yes, we had set a goal. I did not anticipate it being funded as fast as it did because when they said, okay, yeah, you're funded, woo, I'm like, yay. And I'm like, oh shit, I got to do stretch goals. I said, okay, so I got to go back to the drawing board. But luckily, I have Mike and, Dino, who's my, the artist for the book, and Fabio, who is he's our art director. He just did it on a piece of her. And so, okay, do you guys remember the Marvel swimsuit issues from the 90s? Yes, booty meat. Booty meat. Speaking of booty meat. So, for those who don't know or may not remember, in the early 90s, Marvel used to do like this annual swimsuit edition. And
I remember that.
Oh God, it was the cheesiest yet most glorious thing that you could purchase. They had Black Panther, he's wearing a Speedo with like the Panther, a face on it. He's in like, in the waterfall. There's an illustration of Gambit and Rogue on the beach, and he's about to lotion her up, and she's like, "Don't touch me, cause I may kill you with my powers," that type of thing. There was one with Storm and Forge. We're going back to the early 90s. But I bring that up because Fabio, he just illustrated a piece for me within the last 2 hours, I want to say, and it invokes that spirit of the Marvel swimsuits. So she's there. She's actually has a surfboard, and I'm like, this is cute. I love it. So yeah, I'm very fortunate to have you guys, illustrating my baby.
I had to look that up as soon as you said it. So I'm up here looking. And yeah, so apparently it was from 91 to 95. It was previously called Marvel Illustrated, the swimsuit issue, but then they changed it to the Marvel Swimsuit Special. Okay.
It's cheesy goodness.
Yeah.
So what did they call it? The term when they have like the really exaggerated women, cheesecake shots or cheesecake pictures. It was pretty much that. And it was during the height of Witchblade and Lady Death and Vampirella and all these other women who could really fit into their costumes. You look at that. See, I remember that. She had her hair done. She got the little crink in there. You could tell this early 90s.
Right. Take a walk on. Take a Wakanda wild child.
See, it's like, yeah, it's
I like
cringy.
it. I like it.
It's cringy, but as kids, we loved it.
Yeah.
Of course. My favorite, I don't remember the one where they were on the at the swim. They did it all the time. They did a pull-out poster where the X-Men were all at the swimming pool together. The
Yes.
blue
Yeah.
and gold team. But my favorite thing about those comics, which I've got to bring back in my own comics or put in, is when the teams would get together and just play baseball or basketball.
Yes, I missed that. It was so carefree. Um, it was wholesome. Mike, I think you cut out your mic.
I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is
go ahead.
there a lag? It could possibly be a lag. But I agree. I used to love when they would meet up. I remember the last time they probably did it. Actually, I know the last time they did it was Uncanny X-Men. Was that 544 or 644? It was in 2004. I know that much. And it was shortly after Jean was killed. And that's when Emma Frost was dating Cyclops, and it was so awkward. And that was what, almost 20 years ago. We have not seen it. However, if you're reading the X-Men now with them on their own island of Krakoa, they don't play sports anymore. They just drink a lot at the local bar that the Blob runs. So, I mean, I'm okay with both. I mean, it's still like enjoyable to read, but yeah, that was a long time ago. They would just hang out, or they used to go to the local watering hole, Harry's Hideaway. Um, we haven't seen that in about 3 years, but again, things are very different now with the X-Men.
Yeah.
Very
So this is
different.
a good question that we tiptoed in this area. Marvel released their next big story arcs, and one of them is the Fall of X. And a lot of people are worried that means they're about to put them back in that damn school because the X-Men have been very interesting and their stories have been very good since they have just decided they ain't got to listen to nobody. So how do you feel about that possibility of them going back to school?
Mike, I'm so glad you asked me because
Bring
so
it.
I actually did a post about it a few days ago. When I saw that it said Fall of X, I felt some dread because I am so enjoying, this era of X-Men. I love the fact that they've always been coded as people of color. They've always been coded as queer or whatever. And they're to the point where they say, you know what? If you don't like who I am, fuck it. I have my own nation. I am not going to change who I am. And you can just keep on with that because I don't care. I think it felt like a natural progression. And for me, it's like, how many times are we going to see the mansion blow up? Like, no, let's just keep that in the 90s. In Krakoa itself, it's more of an idea. It's about, when the people who have had their society taken from them, when they realize that we are stronger together. You have the bad guys working alongside with the good guys. You had never seen a government consisting of, Cyclops, he's not a member. You have Professor Xavier, Magneto, and Apocalypse. They were sitting at the seat of the Autumn. Then you had Mystique up there with Sinister. Then you had Storm and Marvel Girl and Nightcrawler, Colossus, Exodus, and now Destiny. So I loved what they were doing. I really want this era to continue. Do I realize all good things come to an end? Unfortunately. But from what I was hearing regarding Fall of X, they said Krakoa may still endure, but it's more of a target at Xavier. And it may be his downfall. But I'm also like, we've seen that before. Like, you guys have, like, this bring back Jonathan Hickman.
Mm-hmm.
Bring him back. He had a clear directive for the X-Men. He knew what he wanted to do, and he also he shed some light on characters who were not getting any type of recognition, like M from Generation X, Generation X fame.
Yeah.
One of my favorite, characters, but she was front and center. Her teammate Sink, Everett Thomas, he had been dead since the year 2000. But it's, what, I like the character. We'll bring him back because now mutants can't die. You have mutant resurrection, and now he's considered an omega level mutant. So I loved the attention on, the black mutants finally getting some type of attention. Speaking of black mutants who are getting attention, Mike already knows, but I fucking adore Storm. Like, Storm is my mother. She's my sister. She's my auntie. She's my daughter. So to see the love that Marvel was giving her in the last year alone was amazing. Like, she became, the queen of Mars, pretty much. She became the voice of the soul system, and she is truly in her power. Like, even now, and I'm grateful for those things. I love reading that. That inspires me to do my own shit. Well, not really. It does, because it's the muse or whatever. But it's good. It's nice to see that. So for X, I'm a little concerned because, Mike, I don't know if you saw it. They had like the promo for next year of the books coming out, and it was lacking like the distinctive Krakoa X on it. So yeah, it I don't know. Look at the texture to her hair. I mean,
It's looking accurate.
right? I love it.
I'm not gonna say
Hashtag
nothing.
representation. Okay.
This is one of the reasons why Brian comes onto the show. He likes how I fade up these wingless characters.
I mean, we are definitely fans. Yes, this is true. So what did they say? Hey Brian, what did Jay say? I could say for 2 years watching Mike's women's schedules are getting better and involvement. Yeah, I agree. This is just beautiful, and we just started. If you look at it,
They have. I see someone talking about Storm, and I know Malachi loves to talk about Storm. I'm gonna say,
yeah,
I'm very happy that Storm is getting the props that she fucking deserves.
it
Because she's
took so
been out
long.
here running shit, and I love it. I don't even got to read the book. I just wait for Malachi's update, and I can see it in my story. You know what I'm saying? Malachi keeps me updated what Storm is doing. Her becoming the Queen of Mars. That
Yeah,
the fight that she did with Magneto. I mean, Storm
yeah,
just taking nobody's crap, and I love it. I don't want them to go back to the old status quo X-Men. Like,
no,
I want it to happen in the movies, but the '90s version, the Squad, Gold Squad, back in the Jim Lee era.
mhm.
So I don't mind going. I don't mind it in the movies because we ain't never got it right in the movies.
This is
But
true.
as far as the comics are going, this to me is what comics are supposed to do. This is
Yeah.
how you expand on an IP property and take it to the next stage of its growth.
Mhm.
I know these people are still 35 years old for the last 70 years, but the story, the situation, the scales, all of
Mhm.
that has changed the scope. And that brought me back to X-Men books.
See, and that's a beautiful thing. I love the fact that how we have hashtag Black Excellence.
Mhm.
It's pretty much mutant excellence right now. Um, Storm. So are we going to spoil what's been happening with the Judgment Day event, or
Go ahead.
yeah, we're going to spoil it. So basically, Storm and Magneto have been working side by side. They decided to relocate to Mars, which is now terraformed mutant colony called Araco. And
Mhm.
Araco is the sister to Krakoa that's on Earth. So Storm, she is the region of Mars or region of Araco. Magneto, he's at her side. You have the natives there who are also running this government, and to see them to see them work together after being adversaries for so many years. The first time he saw Storm, like back in the late '70s, he used her powers, to supercharge himself, almost killing her. So to see her freely give her powers to him when he was actually dying, because Uranus, the Eternal, punched a hole in his chest and ripped out his heart. You know, Storm, she was keeping him alive, literally. So
Yeah.
when they finally took the fight to Uranus, you know, for pretty much committing genocide on Mars, because he believed in only a pure people. You know, there could be no deviations. You know, there's no that's excess deviation, so I must destroy it. And you know, Magneto's a Holocaust survivor, so he
Yeah.
took that very personally. So they ended up they didn't kill Uranus because you know they're Eternals, is all in the name, but they stopped him. But then Magneto died in her arms, and when you think about, okay, well, he will come back. You know, the mutants are being resurrected now. You know, there's a mutant circuit that does that, but they were pretty much telegraphing all along that Magneto was going to die, because he told his fellow councilmen that, hey, if I die, do not bring me back. I don't want to be resurrected, destroy all my backups. I long to see my daughter that I have not seen since she died, 50 something years ago. Do not bring me back. And so as he was dying in Storm's arms, he started seeing his daughter approach him. And so he's like, Storm, do you see her? Do you see her? And Storm started crying. Now, if you guys know anything about Storm, Storm does not cry at all. So when you started seeing the tear and that snot bubble, that's when you knew it was serious.
Mm-hmm.
It's not bubble. I'm exaggerating. So, I like seeing stories that are pushing forward into the future, but are still, looking back and taking their cues from the past. Like, you know what? This speaks to the history of Storm and Magneto being back and forth since 1977. I don't want to go back to the mansion. These are grown ass X-Men. They are not students.
Back to the mansion.
Can we not do that? And to piggyback on what Mike said earlier, yes, they did not get the schools correct in the movies. I'm okay with that now. From the year 2000 to the year 2018, we see the school. That is so fucking cool. I love it. We seen them in the school. I'm ready to see Krakoa. Let's bring Krakoa as that secret nation. They kind of like what they did with Wakanda in the MCU. How they mentioned it in Avengers: Age of Ultron, and then in the next movie we saw it for what was it, Captain? No, we didn't. No, we still didn't see it. It was still referenced in Civil War, and then in Black Panther. I'm okay with them doing that with Krakoa. Let this be a secret mutant society. I don't want to see that damn mansion. I just don't want to see it.
So my thing with it is, I'm not okay with it because Bryan Singer lied to me, and I feel I ate up all his excuses. I ate up all of his lies, and I accepted that weak sauce ass X-Men movie that we got.
We
now,
did.
I'm not going front. It had good moments for the time that it was out. It was decent, but a lot of that stuff that Bryan Singer used was excuses, and he was just scared to push the envelope for a real comic movie.
Yep.
Now, also, we'll give X-Men props. X-Men did help usher in the movies that we are getting today. I understand that. All that being said, trash. I want my school. I want my danger room. I want Sentinels. I want skin tight costumes. I want Rogue with her half jacket and the green and yellow. And I want Sugar and Baby and Snapping. I want Remy LeBeau doing all that and more shit. I want all of that. I probably won't get it, but I trust Kevin Feige.
You won't get it. And I can respect that. I just think that now for me, I'm just so desensitized. Like, you look at the Phoenix saga, and to me, even now, that's probably the best X-Men story, comic book story. The seduction of a superhero, how she was led into darkness and destroyed a star system. That is a grandiose level shit right there. I wanted that reflected in the movies. and they never did it right. So now
They did not do.
they did not. It was just like,
And
and
Dark
you
Phoenix,
see,
man. Ooh.
you
Ooh,
know,
still mad at that.
how can you do a Dark Phoenix saga without actually doing a Phoenix saga? I mean, you kind of need her in that green outfit, with the golden sash. That would have been so hot to see. Um, and even with the last movie, well, I guess the last X movie, Dark Phoenix, you know, they mentioned Dabari, the race that she ended up killing as Dark Phoenix, but you guys could have easily mentioned the Shi'ar, who are huge in the X-Men, universe. They've been around almost as long as Storm, Colossus, Nightcrawler, Wolverine, and the others. It would have been nice to have seen Lilandra, the Imperial Guard, but they didn't want to do it. So at this point, now that I am, in the autumn season of my life, being no longer a child with stars in his eyes, no, give me fucking Krakoa. Show me the Quiet Council. Show me the Great Ring of Araco. And I want the MCU treatment. I don't care about no school. I am not a student. I'm grown.
Jay says, I don't want to hear about another Phoenix saga in a movie until Ruffalo gets his own Hulk movie. That ain't happening.
Yeah. You know what?
No time for somebody. They got a Universal ain't giving up them rights, and
They're
Marvel and Disney ain't gonna pay what Universal wants right now.
But okay, are you guys watching She-Hulk? Please say yes.
Yeah.
I'm not caught up though, but go ahead. You can spoil
it. I said I don't want to spoil it, but I guess I will.
Go ahead.
Listen. So the last time we saw the Hulk in a She-Hulk episode, Jennifer was like, "Hey, can you come over for dinner?" He said, "Hey, I'm kind of indisposed right now," and he's in a spaceship. He's darting off to God knows where. That would be a perfect, I don't know, limited series, or give us a movie. War World Hulk would be an amazing movie to start off with, to fully show him integrated in the MCU. Will they do it? Probably not.
Well, the only reason he won't get his solo movie is because Universal owns the rights to solo features, and the contract between Universal and Marvel is loose enough to where they can feature Hulk as a featured character in everybody else's stuff. But if they try to do another solo movie, then they have to give Universal way more money and way more control. So that is really the only reason Hulk has not gotten a solo flick again.
That is so annoying though, because if you look at it, Universal has not done a Hulk movie since what, 2008?
Mm-hmm.
Release the character. You're not doing shit with him.
Bana? Was that the Eric Bana one?
It was Ed Norton.
Oh, okay. That was okay.
So you know that was a long ass time ago. Like when you think about Hulk now, you don't even think about those actors. You think about what's it, Mark Ruffalo or Follow? I don't know. I'm trying to make it sound fancy. When you think about him, and he's been Hulk now for what? I want to say 10 years at this point.
So a lot of movies.
Yeah, a lot of movies. Yes. So I'm just. And another thing, I have to keep in mind too. Now that I'm in this creative space, now that I'm also telling stories and all this stuff, I have to remind myself, even though it's hard because I'm still very much a fan of these other properties, I have to remind myself that these are not my IPs.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have any stock in this shit. They are not my characters. Yes, do I get upset when I see Storm is not being pushed the way that I want to because I'm very particular about it? Do I get mad that they gave her this new hairstyle where it's showing texture in her hair the first time in years? Do I get mad when another artist totally goes back to how it was? Yes. But I am not getting paid to endorse this character. She's not real, even though it hurts to admit that. So I had to keep that in perspective. And I also have to keep that in perspective for the other Marvel properties. Someone said in the comments, in Feige we trust. Yes, he has not steered us wrong yet. This is a slight tangent, but still Marvel related. please tell me that you guys have seen Werewolf by Night.
Yes.
Yeah, oh, girl,
Werewolf by Night.
yes.
Yeah.
Is it a movie or a comic?
It's a special that
5 minutes long.
Disney released last Friday.
Okay.
They bring in the monsters finally into the Marvel universe. It's glorious. When Feige first announced that, hey, I'm going to do a Werewolf by Night, one shot or special, I was kind of like, but why though? Like, no one really cares about the character. But then people have been reading the comics longer than me, and I have a dear friend of mine, Dennis. He is obsessed with Werewolf by Night. So to him, that was his sweet spot. Like, you know what? Finally, I get to see this, so I can appreciate Feige, giving all the Marvel fans, something to look forward to. It was a fun special, and then they released it last Friday. So with the Halloween season, which is the best season, which is my Christmas, it was well done. So you got to check it out. I really don't have any type of issues when it comes to Feige and what he's building. I do okay, that's not entirely true. So I do have a concern. I have a concern. I know you guys have seen the news about Blade, how it's been put on hold. They need to get a new director. Find a black director, okay? Let's start there.
There's an idea.
Yeah, let's start with a black director who could write a black man. I know it's crazy, right? But let's do that.
So give that a try. Give it a whirl.
Yeah,
I mean,
even like when you think about the comic books now, and you think about certain rosters, you always have the token black, even though there should be more people of color, on these teams, with solo books. It has always bothered me that, in the X-Men universe, you have all these mutants, these cool ass powers with these amazing backstories, and yet there were only 2 black mutants. So you telling me that Storm came out in 1975 and a black man did not join the team until 1991, 1992? And they stayed on the team. There was no Maggot, who I love. He came in with 97. They got his ass out within a year. He was gone. They said, a South African mutant, we don't want you. Go away. Like there are a few other black characters, but I mean, like Frenzy. She's an old Marvel, X Factor villain. She joined the team for a hot 5 minutes back in 2012. I mean, like come on, black people read comic books. But if you're not gonna show that representation, then I'm gonna write my own.
Yep.
So you guys let me go on this tangent. You know how passionate I am about Marvel and my X-Men stuff.
You're perfectly fine. So we're gonna switch gears a little bit because I'm almost done with this, and I do want to talk about it. Spoilers: Game of Thrones last night. If you've been paying attention to
House
my
of the
own
Dragon.
House of the Dragon, you know that I've been watching Game of Thrones and Ring of Power. I did not watch this week's episode of Ring of Power, but last week's episode was amazing for Ring of Power. I'm gonna tell you right now, if you are a Lord of the Rings fan, and
I need to go ahead and binge it, huh?
yeah, and you've seen Lord of the
I
Rings
need to.
Extended Edition, you've seen The Hobbits, you've played the 2 for Shadows of Mordor games, and then you watch that episode and see what happens in that. Chef kiss. Now, I have not had a chef kiss yet in House of Dragons. I've had some good moments. I've had some fun times. I've had a couple one-nighters, but that's it. All right. I ain't had nothing memorable until this week's episode. Yo, the king, I pronounce his name wrong all the time, Viserys. Oh, your boy has had the longest life of suffering I've ever seen. Number one, whatever part of AIDS he has, I don't want it. I hope it died out with him. Because damn, your boy must be 60 years old and this disease is slowly eating away at his body. He's at the point where he got half a towel on his face. He's in the bed like, yeah. They're giving him milk of the poppy to keep him going. But your man, I've said this since the beginning of the season. Your man is an example of a good person with a decent heart trying to be a good king, and how impossibly hard it is. And we are witnessing that with him.
Yes.
His daughter comes up to him, and she is begging him, fight for me.
Tears.
They are trying to take from your daughter what you said you were giving me. She's supposed to be queen. All her shit's lined up because her dad said that's what it was going to be. Who the hell is calling me on Facebook?
It must be important.
Oh no, I'm about to hit him back. I'm streaming. Damn. So, and like you can't tell if you can hear her or not, but she's like, "Fight for me, please, fight for me," or whatnot. So you don't think he's in the bed? He's bedridden, and they having a council meeting. The hand is sitting comfortable in the iron throne chair, like he's been waiting for this for a long time, and now he's about to hook his daughter up, who is the queen. The old girl gets ready to come up there to talk to speak her case, and then all of a sudden the doors open, and you see this hobbled skeleton of a king walking with his cane, pushing pushing through the pain. They announce him, King Viserys, protector of the realm, your guy and my favorite person, coming through one last time. I mean, he is clunk. Everybody gasp on their face like, oh my God, he's out of bed. He gets up to the stairs. He looks at the hand, hobbled over. I'll sit the throne today. I was like, yes! That is nothing but a love for his child pushing him through. He gets up there. Even had a dope scene with Damon picking up the crown for him. And they said that scene, that was not meant to happen. The crown accidentally fell. They kept rolling and Damon picked it up and they went with it. So all that was, they made up on the spot, which makes that extra dope. And gets there, basically he does his thing. He lays it down saying, my daughter's queen, her kids ain't bastards, da-da-da-da-da, they gonna inherit this, they gonna inherit that, she's gonna be queen, enough said. It was the hardest scene in Game of Thrones this season to me, way better than anything else they've done with some flying dragons, and that's crazy. I'm done.
Did you cry?
Okay, well, let me chime in as a daughter. Okay, they got a couple of tears out of me with that one. They got a couple, because I'm just like seeing her plead, her case, and knowing her father is pretty much on his deathbed and saying, I need you to stand for me. I need you to stand for me or whatever. I'm like, dang. So they going in there. Vayman done said his piece like, bruh, this is not how it's supposed to be, yada, yada, yada. So she gets up there and she's about to, say her piece, and then in comes her father. And I'm just like, oh, I'm like, came through from, and then I know these ain't real characters, but knowing that my father came through for me, I'm like, yes, like that's why they got the tears from me, because I'm like, that is the father's love for his daughters, and there is nothing on earth like it. So yes, they got a couple of tears out of me for that one.
Yeah,
they got some gasps out of me too.
I'll tell you, what got tears out of me on some fancy stuff is Frodo Baggins and Samwise Gamgee. Samwise Gamgee telling your man, I can't carry the ring for you, but I can carry you, Mr. And threw him on his back. Your boy cried at that moment. Now, they didn't get no tears out of me for King Viserys, but they definitely got my man. He stole the favorite character seat right there with that. If Game of Thrones is going to survive, because also, everybody's buzzing with Game of Thrones now that this show is back. If this show is going to survive or even hope to hit the same heights as the previous show, they're going to have to step it up. Because I've been getting all these clips from the old Game of Thrones show on my TikToks and stuff, and I'm like, that show was bad as hell. I mean, scenes with bars in them. It's just like seeing character after character. You're like, damn, I remember that night My boy Tyrion got it in. Oh, Cersei, she got it in. Arya got it. I mean, the list just goes on. If this new Game of Thrones wants to have that, they need to step it up. They gotta hurry up and do something.
Well, they said that George R. Martin, he said it deserves 4 more seasons. So I saw that earlier today. So I mean, it may happen, right?
It may.
As long as they don't,
don't know, man.
screw up on the last season.
Well, it looks like everybody's enjoying it though. The people that are watching it, I mean, it's not a bad show. It's but it's gonna happen. They're gonna get their season. I just remember the first season of Game of Thrones. I watched that first episode. I was locked in. I was so Ned Stark. Oh,
yes.
Give me a character like Ned Stark all day, every day. Behead him or not. That's my man. I love characters like that. It just they knew what they were doing. So we'll see.
They knew they were doing initially. Let's put that yeah.
Because that season
first it was pristine. Oh yeah. Like I remember I watched the pilot 3 times. That's how much I enjoyed it. And I never do that with shows, But for me to sit down and watch it from start to finish, back to back, it was a testament to the storytelling, to the wealth of characters, who are well-rounded in just, that one scene. Not one scene, but throughout the episode. So I was hooked. So I got the books. I started reading the books. I enjoyed the books. And I think what stopped me from truly enjoying it was when they killed up Catelyn, Stark, because in the book she comes back as Lady Stoneheart. When they never picked up that very important, storyline, I was kind of like, what the fuck? Like, what's going to happen? And then, of course, they started splitting seasons in half, and you started doing whatever you wanted. And then, of course, George, he wasn't writing books. Like, season 1 of Game of Thrones came out in 2011, which was also the same year Dance of Dragons came out. The show went on for how many years? From 2011
to 18 years.
Yeah, so it's like, but you couldn't manage to do Winds of Winter, and so now he's like, yeah, I'm still going to release it. I don't care now. I've been waiting like for years. So
well, here's the thing: if he releases it, he's in a position right now that I don't know. I don't think anybody really has gotten. He had to tell HBO how the shit ended to begin with as part of the contract because he writes so slow. In the case they caught up with him, but now he says that's how the book ends. Well, you got more than enough time to change that, brother.
But he keeps flip flopping on on the answers because it's like, well, which is it? Did you were you too overwhelmed with other stuff, or you just wanted to sit back and line your pockets, like you said in the previous interview? Because I didn't forget.
The man was enjoying that famous life. That's what that was.
Yeah, I mean, and that's fine. This is something that you put your blood, sweat, and tears into, and it was major when it came out. Like everybody spoke about, Game of Thrones. They had one of the coolest, intros. Even now, like it's so catchy and it's very artful as well. So yeah, if you wanted to like take a few years off to just enjoy this HBO paycheck, go for it. But don't start getting like, upset when they start doing things in later seasons. They say, well, I wouldn't have done it that way. Well, maybe you should have written a book. How about them apples? So
he should. And I've said that before too. I mean, it's truthful. Like I get it. You like you said, that's a very valid point. Like, hey, I'm taking 2 years off. I'm about to kick it.
Yeah,
it's taken till I was 90 to get famous. I'm about to take pictures with a bunch of black women in bars. This is what I'm gonna do for the next 2 years. Then I'm gonna get back on the book.
So trifling for that.
That's a very specific reference. Your man was in the bar taking pictures with a bunch of black women, kicking it. I'm just like, where is the book?
I saw that too.
But look, hey, I just put the link in the chat. Please go over here and support this Kickstarter. It is already funded, people.
Yes, y'all.
So the tough part is done. Let's share it. Let's spread the word. Hey, you had $3,631.99 backers.
Yes, I
Bet.
love it. Thank you guys.
Game time. Let's share it. If you ain't got money because the bills are tight, I understand. I dig it. Let's get $1 on here. Dollars count. They add up. They stack up. You don't have no money at all. Cool beans. Give us a share. Sharing is absolutely free. I can't wait to get my copy. I got my shirt. I got my book coming. I'm excited. This right here, this piece is finished. This is yours, Malachi, to do whatever you want with it.
It's beautiful.
No problem. Thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode of Chat and Draw. We'll be back next week, and I have Moana coming on with her Kickstarter, and we'll probably have Ryan on here as well. So we'll be doing some nice art for that. And then I got my girl Vess coming on the week after that, and we're going to be talking about her Kickstarter as well. So we're booked for the rest of the month. Hope you guys enjoyed. And we forgot to do our commercial, which I'll do leading out here. But check us out at Agents of Geekdom on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. 7 great shows, 7 days a week, including this one, all on one channel. Go ahead and check that out. And check out one of our shows right now on this commercial, and we're going to put up the credits right after that.
I think that I should ask Mr. Watson. I think that I should ask Mr. Watson.